Hey guys, how you guys doing? We're going to manifest it with quantum physics. That's right. Quantum mechanics or quantum physics. Basically, you need to know this. Schools need to teach this. So I'm going to teach you today how to manifest with quantum physics or quantum mechanics. It is the key. It is something that you need to know in order to create your life by design instead of by default. Default basically means miscreating your reality. So that's what we're going to do. So let's talk about how to manifest it with quantum mechanics or quantum physics, okay? So quantum physics, in simple terms, it's a science that we show how everything comes into our reality. Everything you see that comes into your world, your life, it must come through the form of quantum physics. You know, when you look around and you see everything and you're manifesting, you're creating, and you ever wonder, like, how my thoughts, how does it work when I think something or I visualize something and then it comes into reality? Is the mind separate from the body? Is my brain my consciousness? I'm aware of what's going on, but my mind is like out there somewhere, right? It feels like it's in my head, but is it really in my head? Where is my mind? Where is this? What is all of this? Those are questions that a lot of us have been thinking about or considering, right? It gets even more deeper. How about when you're dreaming? Like, you have a dream, right? Sometimes a dream feels so real. It feels like, man, I can't even tell if I was dreaming until you wake up. You say, man, thank God that was a dream. I had the most horrific nightmare, or this dream was bad, or this dream was good, or man, why did I wake up from this dream? I wish I would still be in this dream. Well, the thing is this. You notice why it feels so real, right? Because the body doesn't know the difference. So it begs to ask the question now, okay, so let me just use the dream thing. All this is going to tie in together. So the question is, all right, man, so, if I'm dreaming and my dreams feel so real, my dreams feel so, perfect, like I'm in the dream, then, man, what's going on here? I mean, to my body, it feels so real, but when I wake up, I can't get it, man. What's happening here? Well, what's happening has to do with quantum physics, quantum mechanics. Let me show you what happened. Put my manifesting hat on here, and we're going to get right into this beautiful, elegant, scientific way of how things work. All right. So check this out. All right. So we've discovered that the things that we think are real actually are not real. There's nothing physical. Everything around you is basically energy. And this is the way you have to look at it. It's basically energy in different vibratory patterns or frequencies. So here's how you do it. So let's say you look at something, it has a unique bond or unique signature of energy. Things that vibrate faster look more solid. Things that vibrate slower looks more like gas or fluidity or liquid. So that's what you got to understand, all right? So that's quantum physics. And within these frequencies, or these tiny little particles, you know them as electrons, protons, and neutrons. They are what make up everything. So these little tiny little particles, they aren't even real. They're not physical. They're not hard stuff. They're not this. So then it makes you beg to differ and ask the question, then, what's up with my mind then? I mean, how come everything looks real to me? Well, that again is a trick of your brain. Your brain puts these images, or what's it called, a holographic images. So based on that frequency, right, your brain calculates and puts these information together, and then you see them as real stuff. And what makes this validated more is that when you touch them, it's like your body now agrees with the mind. But again, you got to keep in mind though, that everything that is happening in here is just chemicals. They're just electrical signals, and that's how you're processing. That's quantum physics in a nutshell. So, how is this beneficial to me? What's the purpose of all this? How can I manifest with this? What's the thing? Well, if you can learn to change your perception or your perspective now and adjust your mind to this way of thinking or this way of viewing the stuff, then your mind adjusts to that, and then you become entangled with that true reality. If you're entangled with the form of quantum physics, then you're more likely to believe and to create more abundantly. Because what your mind does now, your mind starts to perceive reality very different. It doesn't perceive reality now as this physical, materialistic world. It now sees the reality as this fluidity, ever changing, ever possible, ever possibilities of things that could come into your world. And then the most important point is it sees you as the observer or the creator. Because now with these particles, so let's go back again. So let's talk about the electron. So let's just look at the electron as the stuff. The electron is comprised of many stuff. You got the atom, proton, you got the electron, got a nucleus, and you got smaller particles, you got Higgs boson, you got all these little particles. But I want to focus on the electron to make it easy for you. So the electron is the particle that, just say, makes up mostly physical stuff. So everything is an electron. So you are part of an electron. So you're physical. So now here's what happens. When you think of something or you observe something in your head, or you're just thinking or you're looking, remember now, that's an electron. Electron comprises everything. So if you're focusing or thinking of something, the electron knows or aware that it's being watched or it's being observed by you. Okay, so it's like the electron knows something going on here because it can see or it knows what you're about to look at. So let's say you decide to look here at your couch. So you move out of your room, you come back in and you're like, okay, where's my couch? Boom, your couch appears right in front of you. According to quantum physics, what I'm saying to you now, according to physical experiments, according to mathematical calculations, according to things that they can prove or they can adjust, this says that when I look away, my chair disappears. Until I decide to observe it, it appears. This sounds very strange. As a matter of fact, it sounds crazy or stupid or counterintuitive to your brain, because your brain sees things in physical. But let me go back on what I said earlier. I said everything that creates from the real was made from the invisible, the atom. You got to get that. You got to get that. Keep that in your head. Okay, that's a new thought. There's nothing physically real. It's just illusions or processes of holographic images in our mind. So we're knowing that now. So you see the electron turns into your chair. So the electron now, so what happens between, let's say what happens between the time when you look away and your chair is gone and the time you look back. So how does it appear to be my chair and then disappears? Well, to show you now, this is even clearer evidence that our reality is basically that. It's nothing. It's just illusions. It's all fabricated of this big mind movie. Okay, so here's what happens. That electron now turns into a wave, not a literal wave in the sea. What they mean in wave in physics terms is it turns into now all possible things that could happen. So basically, when you look for your chair, it's there, but when you turn away, your chair now disappears. It doesn't exist anymore. Now what it is, it's in a superposition. It means it's all possibilities. It's there, everywhere at the same time, until you decide to look and, oh, my chair, boom. But you will never see this, because the laws of physics allows that we can't see the wave process. So we'll never know the true identity of how it works. So that means, that's why when you turn around, it looks like it appears instantaneously, but we'll never be able to see that gap where it disappears. I repeat that again. We'll never be able to see the gap when it disappears. So how do we know it disappears? Well, because of mathematical probabilities and calculations. And of course, the famous double slit experiment, where they shot these electrons, particles, through these little slits. And when they observe the slit, the particles go through, and then they turn into these wave patterns. So it decides. Okay? So that's very simple, so you can understand that. Now, manifesting it. So what's going on here? All right, so here's the next big secret I must reveal to you. It's all tied to quantum physics. You are a mind. You are something non-physical. You are always here, there, everywhere. Mind and the brain are not the same. Mind and the brain are not the same. Mind exists outside. Brain is a receiver. That's why when you dream, it feels real, because to the body it can't differentiate, because the mind creates that reality from inside the brain. I'll repeat that again. You got to get this. That's why when you dream, it feels so real, because you're actually in another reality, because the mind is communicating with the brain, and the brain and the body believes everything is real. So that's why it's difficult sometimes when you just get out of a dream. You say, wow, that felt so real. You're probably sweating, you had a nightmare, your heart's beating. Body and the brain seems the same. So that asks a question. So man, so are you telling me that when I dream, I'm literally in another reality, and when I'm awake, I'm literally in another reality? And I say yes. So that means when you go to sleep every night, you live two realities simultaneously. You live in a dream world, and then you wake up in this world. Then ask the next question, right? Man, Mark, how do I know this world isn't a dream world? Here's the answer. You don't. We don't. It could be. It could be a big dream as well. I'm just showing you a picture here of how quirky and quacky this can get. But this is scientific proof and evidence now that the materials are showing us, or these theories. They call them theories, but now many of them are becoming laws and facts. But this is what the experiments are showing us. So quantum physics is the key for you to create your life by design. So here's how you can do it now. So now that you understand this very simple thing, so that means everything you see around you now is all this energy vibrating in different states. So your mind, the observer, the mind, you, controls it. How do we know this? Well, let's go back to the electron. What I said about the electron. Electron is connected to the mind because the electron knows when it's being observed. Observer is you, the mind. So that's what I want you to get. Now, how do you make this work in your life? Well, if you understand what I just said, then you can know that, oh man, so he is telling me, or he's showing me, get this light out. So he's telling me, or he's showing me that everything that I am thinking or what is all in this fluidity, and I can really literally change it to create my life by design. Yes. So when you start to look at life this way, by seeing the things the way I just showed you, then it becomes more evident and you become more aligned with the true purpose of your being, you, the true mind. Now you will start to manifest easy, easy, easy. Why? In simple terms, you break down resistance. You create the unblockable. You create the things that are blocking you, and that's all tied into the conscious mind. You now erase the logic and thinking analytical part of the mind that sees everything as real, because now you're operating from a deeper level of awareness. See, that deeper level of awareness is what creates what we call that quantum effect. That's how you turn that physical reality into a quantum reality, because everything comes from that. So, does that make sense? Hopefully it does, and you can understand it. So now you have a clear understanding of how the nature of reality works and how your mind works. So let me do a quick review so I can make it simple again. So, because I really want you to get it. All right, so remember, the mind exists outside of the brain. You are the mind, the observer. Real reality exists in these states of invisible quantum particles. Electrons, they go from real, what you call real, to wave, back to real. Okay? Electrons and everything that creates us, at the core, they aren't real. They aren't physical stuff that you can grab or touch. They're just energy. We can pick them up and calculate them by mathematics. So that's what you are. Same thing with you. Your brain gives you image, perceptions of illusions. When you touch it, It's the body reaction from chemicals sent by your mind, your cells, your nerves, and it feels real to you. That's all it is, okay? Actual reality is based on you, the mind, higher self, perceiving what you want. So how do you make this work? You do this by, if you see something, you continue to focus on it, you can visualize it, and it will come into your reality. You start to understand that the world you see is not physically real, but it exists in these different states. That understanding now leads to a different level of awareness. That level of awareness now brings you more in tune with your higher self. That part of your consciousness now will give you access to manifest quickly because you don't have any resistance now. You are not constrained by the ego or rational mind. Now that you have this new knowledge or this new level, your mind will excel. Remember again, the brain is a receiver. That means your brain is capable of understanding certain things. So your brain can't get everything, but you can get to different levels of that because the mind, again, is outside the whole box. That's why they call them different levels of consciousness. So once you can accelerate and get into these different levels, it tunes the brain more to pick up from this invisible or this quantum field. There you have it. So that's why you can use quantum physics to manifest. So now you got it, guys, and you can use it to your advantage. All right? Thank you. See you again.